Brought to you in part by Ladericorn Speaks, LLC.
Hey, welcome to KROSS BARZ, the podcast where we discuss interesting topics with alternative perspectives. I am your co-host, Big O, and I have with me here.
Hey, Tanae is back in the building one more time with Mr. Columbus Short, the actor, the dancer, the choreographer, the singer, the songwriter, the man of many, many hats. Give it up for Mr. Short, y'all. Give it up, give it up, give it up.
Oh, let's get a little intro in there. Oh, I don't know if you know about that.
You know, we can't hear it.
He might be a little too young for that. We ain't gonna do that to him. All right. Let me chill out. I just got to get hyped real quick. All right, now, first and foremost, Mr. Short, where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri.
Whoa, okay, KC in the house. All right, home of Miles Davis, correct?
Home of a lot of people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Miles might be from St. Louis, but I gave him y'all.
I think Miles is from St. Louis, but Don Cheadle's from there.
Don Cheadle, one of the phenomenal actor. Okay, absolutely. Okay, so now my question to you is, how did you get into acting versus singing? And just being honest, I didn't even realize you had a book, and I was like, When she told me, I was like, what? I was getting to his music. And I said, I know him as from acting, but, most actors have the singing gift, like when you're artistic. But, I want to know, how did you get into your art?
Well, first of all, growing up in church, I was like, grow up under amazing musicians and singers. Mm-hmm. And so I was just kind of following them, like Nissan, Stewart, and Eric Seats and all those guys. They were working on Aaliyah's album. I remember when I was young, and I would always just follow them around. So I'd play in church, but then in school, I was in the arts programs from junior high all the way through. And so I was a musical theater major, so I would do musicals, which you had to sing, act, and dance. I was trained, in all departments. I got signed to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis Flight Time when I was 19 as a producer.
You got signed as a producer?
Yeah.
Not as a singer? Oh, wow, that's awesome.
And so, because that wasn't what I was on. But then I was like, you know what? I started writing for so many people. And right when that happened, my career in the movie side took off. Like, right when I was about to, I never stopped doing music. But right when I was about to go hard, the movie thing, happened. And, it was kind of like Neo and Chris, we were all kind of like, I was going to go right with them. But, I kept going, in the movie side, and, they're working on albums, they're going on tours. I was making movies and kind of stalled it out. So now I'd say in the last 5 years, I have not left the studio. So it's been, I have like 7 albums, but we finally narrowed down what we're going to do. But that's a whole nother topic.
Oh, wow. So this sounds pretty awesome. Now, question, I have to ask this because sometimes I get surprised. Are you an artist as far as you can draw as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird that you asked that. It's weird that you asked that because, I can name a myriad of artists, actors, like Idris Elba, for example. He's amazing DJ and amazing rapper, but also he's an amazing visual artist. And so is Chris Evans, Chris Brown, Neo, they all are amazing. Wow. It's weird. I guess that's part of the gift package.
Yes. And that's what I found, when someone can act and then singing corresponds with it. And then I just said, can you draw? I was like, oh yeah, I'm a talent like this. And I was like, hey, I gotta start acting this because it's like a connection of you're expressing yourself. So your art comes through and you're expressive. So now it's other things that I want to act because you may say, I never tried it. You know, you might figure it out, but you were like, no, I came in as graffiti artist and then I slid over into this.
Yeah.
Right.
Now tell me this. Now I don't want to pick, you know, I know how they say it. You know, I heard this before. It's like, you know, you don't choose what's the favorite child. Which you like the best? Keep it real.
That's a lot because you got
It's so,
dancing.
so
you got
hard. It's
singing,
so hard.
Yeah, I
because
know. I
you got
know.
acting,
I love the dance, and I love diving into characters so much. Um, it's something about music that it's just
Yeah.
music is the
everything.
magic. Music is
Yeah,
the hometown. That's what you
Everything.
say. That's what you're
yeah,
saying, or
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what you
You
say.
know, Will Smith said the same thing. He said it's nothing like, you know, parents or something saying come in. Like, you
Yeah.
know, when it comes on in front of 50,000 people versus going to a premiere of a movie. And I
Right.
was like, hey, bro, you know, like that's a $1 billion franchise. And it's like,
It's just the feel.
nah,
But if you know, of course,
yeah,
that in terms of bank account, but in
yeah,
terms of like pure euphoria and adrenaline, you know, just like that first hit, those first chorus live on
yeah.
stage, it's
Hmm.
just there's nothing can compare to that.
Okay.
That's
Now
magic. And
okay, go ahead,
I
Jack.
want to say this real quick because you were talking about, you know, you grew up in the church. You know, I also grew up in the church, and I read in the book you grew up Pentecostal, so I understand all of that, you know, that comes with that. But with that spirituality, does it get difficult to choose in which season of your life that you use what? Because you have so many gifts. You know, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like,
I
how do
had to
you
pray.
know which one to use?
That's a great question. You know, I had to like pray about that because there's balance. You know, I'm a father, I'm a
Pause.
husband,
Pause.
and you know, I'm doing 99 things at once sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so I had to dial back and like really compartmentalize, you know, and we figured out a structure. You know, I started a new tech company. You know, I've been working on it for like the last year and a half, so that's on my plate.
Get that
Producing,
All
paper,
right.
boy.
I'm
Go get the
producing,
paper.
producing these movies, producing this television. So I'm like, okay, when can I carve out to really give this 100% go?
Right.
And so right now it is music season because I'm producing a lot of the movies I'm producing. I'm not in, so I can. So this season, this is the season of push this album out. Well, it's an EP, 6-song EP. You know, shoot my videos, my content, and then I'm gonna just drop it as a whole in the next month or two. Nobody's gonna see it coming, and then we're just we're gonna rock that out once it's out doing its thing.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of you build the machine and let the machine operate for itself, and then you can pop over to other tasks
Are you
in other departments. You know.
Are
That
you ready?
sounds
Are
awesome.
you ready for that? You know, because sometimes with like your acting, you get yeah, yeah, yeah. With your dancing, you yeah, and then one don't get as much. Like, how are you preparing yourself to deal with whatever comes with that?
Well,
Whether the
I've
guys
been
are going
at
to
this
be
for
with
so
you.
long. This album is solely from the heart, and what I realize about music now is when it's good music, it resonates with somebody. And
Bars.
Pause.
so,
Pause.
um, I'm not in it for the yeah. I want my music to make people feel good, make them feel something, think about stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and activate that frequency. I choose my songs are all in the frequency.
Mm.
Yeah, different keys, but frequency.
Yes.
There's frequencies for healing. There's frequencies
Mm-hmm.
for attraction.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yes.
frequencies for
Oh,
everything. So, um, you know, uh, tapping into those frequencies, I think that uh, my songs, my music will, it'll definitely activate something in people.
I,
So
I, I
that's
good
really
song title.
I
Frequency.
really
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that because when I was listening to your music, and I'm a music snob, I'm gonna say that. And when I listen, I always try to listen and say, okay, what does this sound like to me? And when I listen, I said, wow, the first thing I thought of, I said, man, I see what he's doing. And the first thing I thought of, I said, Marcus Houston. I said, if someone said, "Hey, Marcus, we got something for you," and you said, "Here you go, Marcus," but it felt like you said, "Nah, this is for me." You know what I'm
right.
saying? I'm gonna do it, and that's why when I listened to it, I was like, "Wow, he got a little mature." Because I say Marcus Houston is not Omarion, they brothers, but You know, it's a little bit more mature because I felt like when I listened to the tempo, and I was like, oh, it feels like
What song? What song did you hear?
Hometown.
Oh yeah, where?
Yeah, Hometown. And then the one before
The
that,
guitar in Hometown.
yeah, and the one before that, it was like a jazz. I was like, I don't know if that was him because it had a long jazz preamble. So I was like, let me just forward that one. But I listened to Hometown, and I like the one to be
Aquarium.
Yeah, Aquarium. You know, I like the beat on that one. That seems like a little more of a hip hop-ish one. So I was like,
yeah, I got a song out called How Long. I shot the video, so I'm editing the video as we speak. That's why I gotta go.
Okay, that's not a problem. Now my question is, okay, now you said a whole bunch, you know, so we just gonna touch real quick. So now you said you had a tech company going on. Is that a visual art tech company or is it something different?
No, so I started 3.5 years ago. I got brought into like NFTs and crypto. Like I was already in crypto, but I didn't understand NFTs. And I came in and I just like dove in head first, and I started learning the space like deep, like, and so I founded a company called Orca United Society. Orca meaning an organization representing community association. Now, inside of Orca United Society, I built worlds. We build worlds inside Meta Horizon. Like I have a metropolitan city. Like I have a movie theater. I have cigar lounges. I have concert facilities. I have theaters. I have yachts. I have designer clothing stores. All of this stuff in my world. Now, I built it out so that if you're a member of Orca United Society, you get a card that floats. It's in the Meta, and it's like a bank card. Now that we have a bank. Now that we're going to have a bank, I'll be able to send that card out to all my community. So all those people that have an Orca United card. Now, in this card, so let's say you're playing in my casino in the Meta. You're playing in my casino, you're playing against some Saudi prince and some prince from Africa or something, like y'all playing all night. You come up to like $2,700. In the morning, that $2,700 is on your card in real life. You can go do whatever you pay, whatever bill you got to do anything like that. If we're having a concert, so inside the card is smart. It's called a smart contract. Inside the card, it's always being uploaded. Let's say I have Lettucey at my tiny desk. Now Lettucey's performing live in the Metaverse. Boom, you can get your concert tickets. Boom, boom, boom. We have courtside seats at all the Laker games. So these are all the perks that are inside the smart contract. If I'm doing a concert, T-Pain's doing a concert at my pavilion, boom, 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 wow, you know, you got to get your tickets here. So it's really amazing. And you know, it's both USD and crypto. So what I'm going to be doing in the coming weeks, I'm glad you asked me about this. What I'm going to be doing, the hardest thing that I found in doing all this in the last 3.5 years is onboarding, you know, my people, right? So instead of having what we call Web3 language to, like, say, my IG audience, my IG community, what I'm going to offer is once a week, like every Thursday for about a month, I'm going to do 2 hours seminars so I can show them, teach them the way, because this is the future, and it's you know, it's so many aspects to this in which to provide community wealth.
It's like adult Minecraft.
Yeah,
like adult Roblox.
That's what it really does.
Yeah, but there's IR in real life utilities, meaning like concert tickets, and you know, our golf tournaments or whatever events we're having happen inside the Meta that might be happening in real life, you can still attend, you know. And if you can't, this is what opens up most of our events and concerts. And you know, soon we're going to be getting into the boxing, having the boxing matches in there. Is the reach. So now you can be international instead of just domestic. If you're in Saudi Arabia, you can watch, you know, you can watch the domestic fight on our platform, and being a part of Orca United Society. So it's pretty exciting. We're almost there.
That's wow.
So now tell me, how are you going to actually manage? Let's say, you know, you have to tour for your smash single, and now your album is selling triple platinum. How are you going to tour? And then you say that you want to be behind the scenes, and you have opportunity to do the hot movie right now. You have an opportunity to direct Sinners 2. How are you going to juggle that?
Well, that's a great question. So, initially, for now, I'm going to be able to do spot dates. Now, as to when that bridge comes, that comes. There's always 11 ways to skin a cat. That's this I know. Schedules can be worked. Things can be always worked out. And when I'm in go mode, I'm in go mode. So it doesn't matter. I've done it. I've done it before. I can do it again. So,
Okay.
and when you have a great team, I have a wonderful team.
I was gonna ask about
I have
that.
a great team, including my wife. My team is solid. So there's really no fumbling, and we're on top of it. So it really takes they really carry a lot of a load. So it takes a lot of stuff off my back. So I'm easily mobile in either direction.
Okay, so a part of your team, are you the talent, are you the head, or are you the hands?
I'm the head and the hands. I get that. I'm always the talent, but
okay, yeah.
But yeah, I'm a filmmaker. I'll just say I'm bossy, not like bossy, but I'm like I'm very specific. I'm very specific about how my engine works, my life, my engine, my creative. I'm very specific about my craft and about my business. So, and I think that's why my team works diligently and very efficiently because, a lot of people don't know how to delegate properly. They don't know how to communicate properly. And that's half the battle in leadership I found. And being able to communicate efficiently. And because we have that kind of communication, things get done. I run my ship like by 6. I'm up 5:30 by 6 a.m. One of my team, my founding partners, she lives in Texas, so she's already up at 8. We go through our brief. We're done with our brief in an hour. So it's what do we have on the docket? Boom, boom, boom. We go down checklist. So no balls get dropped. So we got a pretty nice little system over there.
So you're saying that, I just want to bring this back to you and switch gears a little bit. You've had a long career doing a little bit of everything. But I was reading your book, Short Stories. So my question to you would be, how do you stay grounded and focus more now compared to in your earlier times when you had first started? Like, how do you stay focused and not get into some of the things you may have gotten?
The short answer is because I already did it. There's nothing out there but distractions. When I was 23 and I got stomped, it was like I got on a roller coaster and it was just drop, but like it was the climb and then it was drop like fast, like then I'm going through, like and I didn't get a chance to catch my breath. But I was young, going out all the time like that's I despise going out. You know what I mean? Like I'm 42, so I'm like really a workaholic and family. So I think the difference is, I've been there, done that. There's nothing out there. Like, what am I going to a club for? Like, I hate clubs. You know what I'm saying? I hate.
It's the same after a while.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Now I'll go to I would love a little jazz concert or
a little lounge,
a lounge,
right.
something, cigar.
Yeah, you're getting old. Yeah, you're getting old. Yeah.
Yeah, but what keeps me grounded is my boys. My youngest is 4, about to be 5. So my kids, my wife, and my team, they keep me grounded. Because and the Lord keeps me grounded because that He keeps me humble. He's on me harder than anybody else. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, and my question is talk a little bit about mental health and maintaining your sobriety. Like, what are some of the key things? Because may have some triggers or things of that nature. Because
I'm glad you asked that question. So I work with a fatherhood program, those in the program for sobriety. I'm like an ambassador. But first of all, triggers this day and age are really overused. I think, but there is so many people with PTSD, not just people that come back from Iraq, not just people that come back from war. There's people that have childhood traumas. There's all sorts of things that went unchecked for their whole life. And then until they start to see those behaviors, those certain things, rear its ugly head in their adulthood. Now, and even mental health, and you can go across the spectrum with that, like whether someone had schizophrenia since they were a kid, not diagnosed,
Yep.
Bipolar since they were a kid, not diagnosed, manic depressant, or all of these things not diagnosed, are misdiagnosed, right? So when you look at that and then you see the fallout with these behaviors like alcoholism or drug abuse or all these things start to come. So one of the things when people first come in is like, first of all, they understanding why they're here, right? And taking accountability for why they're here, and are they ready to do the work, right? So what does that look like? First, acknowledging the issue. Now, once we acknowledge the issue, you have to do a dive into the why. Like, why? Okay, why? And then now you're unpacking. And I think, doing those kind of things on a weekly basis, I was reluctant years ago when I was first on the journey to like share in groups. Now I'm like, I like lead them.
Oh wow! Okay.
But
Absolutely.
but it's men, mainly like with fathers. I deal with a lot of fathers that have just got out of jail for a domestic violence case, which involved some sort of alcohol or some type of accelerant, like some type of drugs. So now they have to do the program. And a lot of these guys, they want to change their lives. They just want their kids are taken away from them, right? They want to get their kids in their lives, and after the first week, there's reluctancy, and then then these like hard dudes like start to share and start to really unpack things, and by the end of the time, people are like, they stay close to the fray because it helps to hear that you're not alone. It helps to be able to talk openly. There's a lot of shame sometimes that comes with the mental health, mental illnesses. But when addressed and when checked, there's I encourage people to see somebody. If you don't want to go to a group, see somebody. Just unpack. It's good to keep your backpack as light as possible because the world is tough enough.
Absolutely.
Right before you get into the this and that, I just want to say on to that too. Even with the people who are diagnosed, we have because I work in social work, so I deal with that, a lot with mental illnesses. Long story short, even with young males that are schizophrenic, African American, there's no place for them to go as far as treatment. You're either in a place with a bunch of old people, or they're too young and their kids. Huh?
Are you in the crazy house? Are you on?
Right.
Are you on?
And that's
are
not
you,
fair
are you on the streets? I mean,
Right. But they're not. But they're still talented, and they have gifts, and they're they can be educated. Where can they go? That's where we need to put some money into. Because I personally know people like that. There's nowhere for them to go. So what do you do? At that point. So I'm grateful
it's
for
crazy.
your program.
I know some people that purposely go to jail just so they can have a meal.
Just for get help. Me too. Yeah.
But that's where I'm working with a program, and I hope I'm believing God that it's going to go through. Well, one is for citizens, but it's one for mental illness, especially men that were incarcerated. They need help. They need services that I think should be freely given to any American citizen struggling with mental health. It doesn't make sense to me because 90% of these school shootings are done by kids with mental illnesses, unchecked, unaddressed. So we got a whole bunch of mentally ill people walking around Earth. Just a bunch of titty tie bombs. So it's a very crucial, very important, and especially in our community, that we stand up. Every single one of us. There's not one of us that I would say doesn't need to see somebody. And the ones providing the care, the ones providing the services, they see somebody. So and that person sees somebody. It's just the nature of the beast. So that's my take on that.
You can put that in your metaverse. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So we're gonna do it real quick and this or that. So it's just that pick one or the other, or if it's too hard, that's what I'm trying to do. Make it too hard for you to choose, so you say both. All right. So
say what?
All right. So we're gonna play this game called This or That. I used to do this back at RLC 90.3 Rutgers Radio way back in the days. People done bid it, turned it to other things, and then they tell me I bid off somebody else. I'm like, look, it's over 20 years now. So I'm like, it's something you created. Yeah. So this is what we do, right? I'm going to ask you two things, and you can say one or the other. You can say both, or even say neither. All right. My job is to make you say both where you can't choose. All right. So I'm gonna give you a little easy layup. All right. Okay. Kansas City soul food or Memphis soul food?
Kansas City soul food.
Okay. All right. Now I see you biased. All right. This man's biased. All right. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Let's get some easy ones. LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan.
Thank you. It ain't your choice, Big O.
I ain't say nothing. You want
everybody to say LeBron.
I ain't say
ahead.
Nothing. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Michael Vick or Randall Cunningham?
Ooh, Michael Vick.
Okay. Now look. I'm gonna throw in a little curveball. Okay. Teddy Pendergrass or Marvin Gaye?
Ooh.
Both. Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me go. Okay. Let's do this one. Easy one. Beyonce or Rihanna?
B.
Okay.
I think you're gonna say B.
Let's watch this one. Ryan Coogler or F. Gary Garay?
Coogler.
Okay. Tyler Perry or Spike Lee?
Spike.
Okay. All right. I like that. All right. Let's throw another one because sports. I see I tripped him up a little bit. Now watch this one. Barry Sanders or Emmitt Smith?
Barry.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
You know what he likes.
I saying that he don't. Okay, but watch this.
But I'm a huge Emmitt fan. But Barry.
Yeah. Watch this. I'm gonna get him with this one. Lamar Jackson or Patty Mahomes?
Mahomes.
Ooh, you're going for hometown discount. I got you. Go hometown. All right, look. Duke basketball or Georgetown basketball?
Woo!
Damn. There we go. All right. No, look, there's a question in the question. Most people ain't get it. Everybody on our frequency know what I was asking. You know what I was asking. You're like, Bo, you better get that one right. All right, hold up. Wait. Grits or oatmeal?
What?
Grits or oatmeal?
Oatmeal.
My kind of guy.
All right, I think you put sugar in this grits, man. That's crazy. All right, here we go. All right, two more. Let's go.
All right.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, and the last one. Samuel Jackson or Denzel Washington?
Denzel. Hands down.
My man. Absolutely. All right. So look. That's why. See, I did it. See,
you did it.
I did it. It was hard. I said, because yeah. So absolutely. Hold up. We got to ask this one because we just got off the podcast and learned about some stuff. Hey, is it difficult? Because as a man, is it difficult to do love scenes and acting? Because to me, it looks like that's difficult as hell.
Nah, well, I mean, first of all, when I do I always want to make the ingenue feel as comfortable as possible, right?
Player stuff, absolutely.
Scene, and then you got crew, cameras. So we do spend time when I'm working with an actress. we're choreographing it. So it's choreographed, and then once it's choreographed, our movements or whatever we're doing, um, then you put the next layer on, which is the acting part. And what tends to happen is real chemistry. You're getting paid to create chemistry, and you're getting
That's
paid to
it.
create chemistry. That's our job as actors. So, you know, I always create the chemistry. Um, um, by any means necessary so that it comes off authentic. So, um, yeah, it's more technical in the craft than it is weird. It's you want to make it look right. You want to make it feel real.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
detailed.
because I just learned they said you have a
An
intimacy
intimacy coach.
coordinator, and I was looking at the people like what,
Well,
and then
that's
they would
new
try
because of all these.
allegations.
Right,
Gotcha.
right, right. So
Oh.
they're starting to bring in intimacy coordinators, which I think is hilarious.
I
But
was like, that's a job.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
Right.
because
That's true.
one young lady, which she is fine as I don't know what,
Oh
and
Lord.
the movie is over 20, close to 30 years. Belly, Tara Hit,
Tara,
yeah,
Hicks.
Tara Hicks, and she just came out and said that that was a body double during the love scene, and I was just like, what? And she was like, yeah, it wasn't me, and I was like,
Hey, you gotta
did
make you
anything go
comfortable
down?
there.
And why did you need a body like a stunt double for that? Like it wasn't like you jumped off a building, and it was like, when I heard, I was like, what's
Nah,
going on? So this
some
is
women,
why I was
some women,
asking.
some women are, comfortable, with the nudity thing. Some are, and you get paid extra for that too when you show some
I
titties.
would want to be.
Oh wow,
When you show the breastises, you
yes,
get, you get, you get,
yeah,
you
I
get a
heard
little
about
bit
it.
more coin.
Yeah, I heard about it because what's her name? Holly Berry for Swordfish. They
Oh,
said she got an
and
extra.
Monsters Ball, she was
Oh
nips
yeah,
to the
Oh
sky.
monster.
no, but
Yeah.
just to put it down when she was suntanning, they said just for that scene she got $1 million extra. I
Yeah.
never forget that. I was just like, I'd have been like this.
Yeah, hey, for $1 million, I show my titties.
Yeah, I would have been like, it would have meant nothing to
If
me.
I
He's
had,
playing
But
peekaboo.
yeah, all day, every day. Go ahead,
All
Josh.
that's
right,
hilarious.
so yeah, just one more question before we get out of here. Just what's one lesson that Hollywood taught you, the hard way? One lesson.
Everybody's not your friend.
Bars.
Um, you know, you meet people, so many people in the
Mm-hmm.
business, and um, people are in this town very opportunistic, and they'll be your friend, when it's high, but when it gets low, a lot of people disappear, and you know that was a lesson that I'm glad I learned because in this next season of my life, I'm running a lean ship, and my
Mm.
circle is very tight. Um, but yeah, I don't need friends. I have family, and if you are my friend and very close friend, you are considered family. But Hollywood, everybody ain't your friend.
Boy,
Friends of
I get on
convenience.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Friends of
All right.
convenience.
All
Absolutely.
right. So, Mr. Shaw, we do want to thank you for being on, the podcast this evening.
thanks for having
Yeah,
me.
my sister and my cousin told me to tell you hi. So I'm gonna say my sister Keisha, my
Hi,
cousin Tamara, and my sister Kendra. They said
You
hi.
ain't tell Keisha. I
Keys,
said I
Kendra,
would.
Tamara. Hi,
Miss,
y'all. Nice
Keisha.
to meet
yeah,
y'all.
and she
Much
said she
love.
remember you from Boys in Motion. So
Word up. Thank,
Oh,
so
thank you
she
guys for having me, though. For real.
I
absolutely.
appreciate it. Hey, so
Appreciate
where can we find you at, on social media to find out things you got going on, what you got coming up?
Yeah, yeah. Just lock in with me on IG. It's official C Short on IG. That's where I'm funneling most of my stuff. But I'm about to have this website up and this company cracking. So I'm gonna really wanna. I'm gonna be doing a lot of teaching. So stay tuned on my IG, and I'm gonna be sending out stuff. It's gonna be open to all of my followers, and whoever wants to jump in and get educated as we move forward. I don't want to leave nobody behind, but we got to, the space is moving fast, and I want to really make sure our people have a chance at the run.
For sure. Hey, we're
Okay.
definitely gonna be looking at it. So I am Jay Tanae.
And wait
That
for the
is
album.
big.
The album's coming in the next month. The album's coming.
You producing it? I mean, you shooting the video as well?
Yeah, well, I shot a video for my single "How Long" that's out right now. It's called
Okay.
"How Long" on Apple Music, all the thing,
Yeah, I have that.
all of the digital platforms, and then "Hometown's" out right now. So
Correct.
"How Long" and "Hometown," those are both going to be on the EP. I'm going to drop one more single, and then I'm going to drop the whole EP.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely
Absolutely.
gonna cop it. Well, I am Jay Tanae. That is Big O. Thank you again for blessing
All
our
right, y'all.
podcast on KROSS BARZ. Thanks for looking out. You know what I mean? We might not have the numbers, but we got the content, we got the heart, we got the passion, and we got God. You know what I'm saying? So see you later. It's KROSS BARZ. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of the platforms. Thank you again for coming out, y'all. Look, he got the hat on. All right, peace. Hold tight.